All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
We the brothers out of Great Millstone, Vadasta back at you again through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakak, what's like, yeah, let me restart that. I was expecting you to be with me, brother. All right, Shalom. We the brothers out of Great Millstone, Vadasta, Georgia, back again with another live lesson. But first and foremost, want to start by giving our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh.
Yahweh. Bahashem. Yahweh Shai. Bahashem. Rekakadash.
Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone who rule to teach well. Much peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, so we back at you again with another lesson. The title of this one is News and Prophecies. You know, just looking at some headlines and going into some precepts. And Lord willing, this lesson be quick and edifying to the hopeful elect. So we're going. Got a couple articles here from the People's Voice. And this article, very in specific, made me think about a certain what the scripture says about that they spake as a dragon. Let me see. It made me think about draconian legislations. You know, and that's exactly what the state of Israel just passed. It says Israel approves fast track death penalty for Palestinians who commit minor offenses. See, so what did Draco what did he do? Let's go to it real quick. This way they get the draconian legislations. Draco, it says, was the first recorded Athenian legislator commissioned in 621 BC to replace Athens' chaotic oral law with a strict written code. His laws were famously harsh, punishing minor offenses like theft with death, leading to the term draconian. He introduced state-administered justice, largely repealed by Solon. So, as you can see, it says he what? Punishing minor offenses like theft with death. And that's the same thing that's going on here. Israel approves fast-track death penalty for Palestinians who commit minor offenses. Minor. I mean, it's not even a felony. It's probably a misdemeanor or something, a less crime, you know, like loitering, you know, like the brother who was going into
Right.
hit the button. Loitering. If a Palestinian is loitering, he could probably be put to death. And we're just using this as an example.
Self-defense.
Whatever they deem
Right.
they can put you to death, man. That's unrighteous decrees. We can start with that precept. Can you get Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1, Baba Kasha? I'm gonna read a little bit of this. This is Infowars.com reports the new death penalty for terrorist law specifically targets Palestinians, calling for capital punishment in cases where a terrorist is convicted of deliberately killing a person with the intent to deny existence of the state of Israel. Discriminatory words of the new law establishes a distinction, ensuring it would apply essentially only to Palestinians while simultaneously exempting J terrorists, including in the West Bank, from any such consequences. So you see what Esau passing laws that only benefits him. That's not nothing new that these devils do. They pass laws that only benefit them, but everyone else it does not benefit. See? So whenever you got that precept, bro, you can go ahead and bring it out, Baba Kasha.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 10, starting at verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed.
And this is nothing new when it comes to Esau. He's always writing something that's grievous upon everybody else but himself. He makes things works in his favor. He uses laws to do that. He makes laws that only benefits his red ass, but everybody else, it's a target to them, if you will. You know, and that's exactly what you see going on right here. It's unjust. It's not right. Laws supposed to be fair,
Right.
but no, when it comes to Esau's laws, they not fair. They only benefit him. You know, and that's one of the many reasons why these devils must be put down. You know, the scripture says because unjust laws. Let me see. Let me get that. I'm gonna get that precept. Don't worry about it. This is the book of Sirach, the 10th chapter, and the 8th verse. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And this is an unrighteous dealing. If you deal, you're supposed to deal righteously.
That's right.
You see, these laws that they push are unfair. They don't they don't help people. They don't protect people. Laws are supposed to protect you, right? Just in case this happens. Oh, this law is in place. Oh, but all Esau's laws are not there to protect you.
Not
That's
at
why
all.
we want deliverance. What about the Willie Lynch letter? You know, what about the black codes? Are these laws set there to protect you? No, they're not. So basically, with these laws, they're basically taking away certain rights from these people right here. I'm not gonna say it. You see, these people right here, they're taking rights away from these people and make it easier for them to what? Put them to death for anything that they may consider a T attack. You see? So it says, I'm gonna skim a little bit through this, see if there's any more information in there. Um, it says the state is changing the rules of the game today. Whoever murders Jays will not continue to breathe and enjoy conditions in prison. This is the day of justice for the victims and day of deterrence for our enemies. The bill which makes death by hanging the default sentence passed with support from 62 Knesset members, including Prime Minister Bibi. Uh, 48 lawmakers opposed it, and one chose to abstain. The the blank human rights group strongly condemned the new law, noting that such trials of peace in the West Bank will be conducted in military courts where evidence is questionable and convictions rates very high. The penalty, execution by hanging, must be carried out within 90 days of sentencing with no possible pardon. No possible pardon. Damn. So you
Uh,
fucked. You fucked.
and hanging itself is grievous, man. Let's say, for instance, at the point of death, you defecate and you urinate on yourself. That's degrading within itself. That's just going to show you how wicked these peoples are.
Yeah. All right. It says the organization explained that the death penalty will be determined in the military courts where only P's are tried. See? Oh wow. These courts have approximately 96 conviction rate. So if you go, okay, let's just use a hypothetical. You a P, right? You this word right here, and you go to a court that has a 96% conviction rate. 96% conviction rate. What does that mean? That means you gonna die.
That's right.
That means you have no possibility that once you step foot in that courtroom, you're actually going to be found not guilty. That means you're going
Found
to be
guilty, you
found
mean?
guilty and you're going to be hung within 90 days of your sentencing.
Sound like Jim Crow.
It don't sound fair, do it?
Not at all.
So these courts have approximately 96% conviction rate, based largely on confessions extracted under duress and torture during interrogations. The right group added. Additionally, the death penalty will be the default sentence. That means ain't no prison time, no nothing like this. Nah, you just getting put to death. And judges will be able to commute it to life imprisonment only in special circumstances. So that's mercy. It says
Mm-hmm.
the BT blah 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 statement continued, and once the sentence has been handed down, there will be no possibility of a pardon or any reduction of the sentence. Wow, that's draconian legislation at its finest. So let's go here. Let's read some more on this. I'm gonna read a little bit more. It says facts about Draco. I'm gonna read this draconian laws. It says his code is famous for extreme severity, often punishing both trivial and major offenses with the death penalty. Aristotle noted that even minor offenses, such as stealing fruit, resulted in the death penalty. So, is this not draconian legislation being enforced? Yes, it is. It fits all of the categories. Draco, this was an Athenian lawgiver whose harsh legal code punished both trivial and serious crimes in Athens with death. Hence, the continued use of the word draconian to describe repressive laws, legal measures. So I think that's all I'm gonna read on this. Hold on, this is Draco's code was later regarded as intolerably harsh, punishing trivial crimes with death. Trivial, sorry. So this is exactly what I thought about when I read this headline, man. And the same thing is gonna apply for when Esau try to roll on the tribes. The same thing is gonna apply. They're gonna use draconian measures, you know, draconian laws to put the men of the Lord to death. Let's see.
There are statistics that steady coming out on how Jakes have been railroaded in the court system, and now some of them are being exonerated after spending over 20 years in prison. So now, with that statistic, you can only imagine how many Jakes have been put to death for crimes that they didn't commit, and they knew it all the time that they were innocent.
Yeah,
That's wicked as hell.
yeah. Can you get the book of Romans chapter 13 verse 11, because we are literally in the time where our people need to stop being sleep, man. Wake up. Salvation is near, and persecution is near. These devils already got all of the laws in the books. They getting ready to roll, man. You got it out.
Salaki, just a minute. This is the
You
book
good?
of Romans, chapter 13, verse 12. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast
No,
off the works of
verse 11, brother.
Salaki. This is the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed.
Right.
The
So
night
now,
is
knowing the time that it's high time to wake up, it's high time for our people to wake out of sleep, man. When you read the NLT, it says this is all the more urgent, for you
mm-hmm,
know how late it is. Time is running out. Wake up, for our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed. See,
right.
so it's time for our people to wake up and smell the coffee. You know, wake up and smell the coffee. It says, wake up, smell the coffee. It's probably an idiom. It says, become aware of the realities of a situation, however
Mm,
unpleasant.
right.
More, it says to become aware of. It says use U.S. informal to realize the truth about one's situation. And see, we've been through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua, starting with the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. We have been aware of the reality of our lives here in Babylon the Great and this system. And we are warning our people that these type of laws, these type of legislations are going to be passed in here in Babylon the Great, aka America, where you can be put to death for some of the minorest offenses. You see, this is what Esau wants to bring, because this NWO is, you cannot, he don't want to deal with non-compliance. You see, if when Esau passes his NWO, he don't want to deal with non-compliance. If you non-compliant, you're gonna get put to death. That's what it's gonna be. Can you get Revelations 12 and 12? Baba Kasha. Esau's motto for this NWO is gonna be what? Comply or die. And we just putting it straight because that's what the MOTB, you either gonna take it or he gonna put you to death. So this is what we are warning our people about. This is a warning. We're sounding the alarm to be aware of this situation and how things are only gonna get worse. You got it up whenever you got that precept.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he has but a short time.
See, Esau's finna come down having great wrath because he knows he has a short time, man. You see? I wanted to get this precept real quick, Revelations 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth. He had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. That's talking about America, Babylon the Great. You know, the two horns like a lamb represents the Democrats and the Republicans, the two-party system that goes all the way back to the Roman Empire, the plebeians and patricians. You know, see, because America is nothing but what, the second version of the Roman Empire, all of it. You see, the revival of Rome.
That's right.
America is the revival of Rome. You see, just like Rome had a senate, the U.S. has a senate because America gets their everything. Why do you have to learn Latin when you getting into the law? Habeas corpus. Why do you have to learn these terms? See, habeas corpus is a Latin legal phrase meaning you should have the body or you have the body. Is a fundamental legal right forcing authorities to physically bring a detained person before a judge to justify the lawlessness of their justify the lawfulness of their imprisonment, protecting against arbitrary detention. Why do you have to learn? Why do Let me type this, see what it says. You to study law. See what it says. Because we know why, but let's see what it says. Less significantly boost academic blah blah blah. Let's see. All right. It says learning Latin significantly boosts academic performance, enhances English vocabulary, and strengthens critical legal thinking skills, which that's not the real point. I'm going to read this one. It says it serves as a fundamental tool for learning Romanets language, legal, medical, and scientific terminology. Furthermore, it proves direct access to historical texts and improves understanding of grammar structures. Because the legal system goes back to what? Rome, the Roman
Mm-hmm.
Empire. Let me type that in. Does America get its legal system from Rome? System from the Roman Empire. See what it says, man. Of course, it says no, but we know this is a lie. Let's
Right.
see.
We also realize that it has a function so that your average citizen, hey, is don't you can talk over their head. You know, you can convict them of a situation they have no idea what's going on.
See, this is what the internet be doing. All right, so I asked it a direct question. It says no at first. All right, it says no.
Mm-hmm.
American law is primarily derived from English common law, not directly from the Roman Empire. And then it says, however, Roman law profoundly influenced American legal philosophy, structure, and terminology, acting as a fundamental intellectual source for the founding fathers alongside some civil law influences in its in states
Damn.
like Louisiana. So
Mm-hmm.
now which
Which
one is it?
which one is it?
Which one is it? They can't
Yeah.
both be the answer.
But they
You see,
say two
man.
things can be correct at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
It says fundamental principles. American law incorporates Roman concepts such as
Mm-hmm.
the rule of law, law applies to all, separation of powers, the power of the purse, and the concept of checks and balances. Political structure. The U.S. Senate was directly inspired by the Roman Senate.
Mm.
Come on, Esau, stop fucking with me, man. What are you trying to tell me?
Mm.
Oh man, it's funny, man. We laugh because it's funny. These devils be trying so hard to deny their Roman roots.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. It says ancient roots of the United States government, Greek and Roman influences. I might read this a little later to see what it says. I'm gonna check it. I might check this out. But all right. See, let's go back. So yeah, going back to Revelations 13 and 11, it's talking about America, Babylon the Great, with its two-party system. Um, and most importantly, what we want to focus on is what the draconian legislations that are being passed in our homeland. So we're going to shift gears a little bit. We're going to get into this topic a little bit. Hesef declares NATO is BOA, using U.S. planning to pull the plug after allies refuse to fight Iran. So we're going to shift gears a little bit. We went into that article, the first article. Now we're going to go into this one a little bit and bring out some precepts. It says the U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth has refused to confirm Washington's commitment to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, pointing to the the bloc's refusal to join the American-Israeli war on Iran. Speaking at a Pentagon press briefing on Tuesday, Hegseth stated that the future U.S. relations with NATO would be decided by President Donald Trump after after the Iran war, but noted that many issues with the bloc have been laid bare in the Iranian conflict. At least, I'm sorry, a lot has been shown to the world about our allies, how what our allies would do, would be willing to do for the U.S. when we undertake an effort of this scope on behalf of the free world, Hegseth said. So just because NATO is not stupid enough to follow Babylon
Mm-hmm.
or bullshit, you know, you don't clearly stepped on a fucking hornet's nest, and now you want them to get bit by those hornets as well, or should I say that wild boar? That wild boar is telling you to, um, the scriptures tell you that they're gonna be like a wild boar. Um, in the book of Second Esdras, it speaks about the Carmanians, which are the Iran or the Persians. You know how they're gonna be like a wild boar. So he argued that Iranian missiles did not pose a threat to the U.S., but to its allies and others who responded to Washington's request for assistance with questions or roadblocks or hesitations. The president is pointing out that you don't have much of an alliance if you have countries that are not willing to stand with you when you need them, Hegseth said. Now, so America needs its allies now. Just a couple months ago, they was ready to go to war over Greenland with their allies, but now they need them. So this is nothing but prophecy playing out. There's going to be an event, something that's going to cause a break between America and its allies, and this is all prophecy. So we just want to shine a light on this situation. Um, let's see.
Because the
Can you get?
scriptures they shall hate the whore.
Yeah, that's right. Can you get the book of Revelation, chapter 17, and start at verse 16?
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire.
So some of these, something that's going to cause these NATO nations, these NATO/EU nations, because some of the nations that are part of NATO are also a part of the EU, and vice versa, if I'm not mistaken. Some of these nations, the main ones that have nuclear missiles. Let's go to Google real quick. What NATO nations have nuclear missiles besides the U.S.? Let's show you. What NATO nations have nuclear weapons besides the U.S.? According to Google, it says three NATO members possess their own nuclear weapons: the United States, which we're excluding the U.S., France, and the United Kingdom. Additionally, as part of the NATO's nuclear sharing policy, the U.S. stores approximately 100 technical nuclear bombs at six bases in five other countries: Belgium, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, and Turkey. It says France maintains an independent nuclear deterrent. The United Kingdom maintains an independent submarine-based nuclear deterrent. So those are the nations that possess nuclear missiles in NATO, which is France and United Kingdom. How many they have? Not sure how many nukes they have, but they're going to be most likely, according to prophecy, they are the ones that have nukes. So it may be those two nations France and the UK, which are part of NATO, which are allies to America, that may turn their back and shoot missiles on this place, man. So read that again, Baba Kashab.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 16. And the ten horn which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore,
Uh-huh.
and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire.
And burn her with fire, man. So America's own allies are gonna turn on them. And are we seeing the beginning stages of that? Is this gonna lead to that? It remains to be seen. But this has been ever since Trump has been, even in this last term, Trump was talking about pulling out of NATO because they wasn't playing their due share. And he has said this a couple of times. And when he got back in his second term, he was screaming the same thing. And now, because of Greenland, he was saying the same thing, going to pulling out of NATO. And now this situation, he's talking about pulling out of NATO. So the Most High is putting it in this devil's heart and his mind to do this, to fulfill his will. I'm going to get this precept real quick. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 1, NLT. The king's heart is like a stream of water directed by the Lord. He guides it wherever he pleases. See? So the Lord is directing these guys, the minds of the kings and the leaders of Babylon.
Right. Verse 17, go right into that.
Yep, I was going to get to that. Go ahead, bro. Read it up.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 17. For the Most High has put in their heart to fulfill his will.
See?
And to agree.
See, the Most High has put it the Most High has put it in their hearts, which is their minds, to fulfill his will, which is to what? To destroy Babylon.
That's
right.
The
whole point. The Lord is so bad. That's why the scripture said this is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. The Lord is so bad that he's going to put it in the minds of their own allies against him to destroy them. Let me go to Google real quick, because the Lord has done something like that before, caused friends to fight against each other like enemies. Where is the scripture that the I'm sorry, had to lock in real quick. There's a scripture where the Lord, these different these different nations was trying to come against Israel, and the Most High caused them to kill each other. Hey, man, the Lord is bad, man. The Lord is bad. He is bad. All right, I'm gonna have to find it because Google is not working with me. So give me a second. Might have to type in the Edomites. I believe it was the Edomites and Ammonites. I believe it was the Edomites and damn it, why the hell did it do that? Salakia, bear with me. You can read that scripture again. You finish it off, Baba Kasha.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 17, starting again at verse 17. For the Most High has put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled.
So the Most High has put it in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree the kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled.
Shall be. So I mean, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, definitely. You can read that last verse.
And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
That's America. That is
A-
America.
AKA Babylon the Great, that harlot.
So America's allies are actually going to turn on him, or America going to turn on his allies. However, it may go down, but that's the whole that's the whole story, man. That's going to play a key part in the nuclear destruction of America, as it is detailed right here in Revelation 17. So this is not something that's going to happen in the future. It's something that's happening now. It's something that's getting itself prepared right now, and that shows you that the Most High is in control of this. That's what gives us what reassurance that we are at the end,
That's
that we are
right.
out here, man. I found a precept. Can you get the book of Second Chronicles? Um, Second Chronicles chapter 20 and verse start at verse 22. Now,
Okay.
keep in mind, give you the quick overview. The Most High caused these different nations, which was the Ammonites and the Moabites and the Mount Seir, which are the Edomites. They came against the nation. They came against Judah, and then they tried to destroy him. But the Lord turned the tables. He turned each and every last one of these nations against each other, and they all killed each other. So let's get into it. You got it, bro.
You say Second Chronicles?
Chapter 20, verse 22.
Okay. This is the book of Second Chronicles, chapter 20, verse 22. And when they began to sing and to praise, the Most High Yahweh set ambushment against the children of Ammon, Moab, and Mount Seir, which were come against Judah, and they were smitten.
Go ahead.
For the children of Ammon and Moab stood up against the inhabitants of Mount Seir,
See,
utterly.
so the Lord caused the Ammonites, or the Japanese, and the Moabites, which are the Chinese, to stand up against the inhabitants of Mount Seir, which are the Edomites.
Mm-hmm.
So Ammon and Moab teamed up to destroy Mount Seir or Edom. Go ahead.
For the children of Ammon and Moab stood up against the inhabitants of Mount Seir, utterly to slay and destroy them. And when they had made an end of the inhabitants of Seir, every one helped it to destroy another. Oh man.
So basically, there was they had an alliance to come against the nation of Israel,
Mm-hmm.
but the Lord caused them to start fighting each other. Man, that shows you how powerful the Lord is, man.
That's right. You know, in reference to the Civil War, you know.
Yeah. Yep. Civil War. That's what he
Mm-hmm.
caused. The Lord literally caused them to have a civil war
That's
against
right.
each other.
Con.
Go ahead. You can finish it, brother.
Verse 24. And when Judah came toward the watchtower in the wilderness, they looked it unto the multitude, and behold, they were dead bodies fallen to the earth, and none escaped it.
See, all of them died. Every single last one of them died. And, you know, they got great substance. They had got a lot of substance from all those dead bodies, man. So um,
Mm-hmm.
we brought that precept out to show you how the Lord controls battles. He controls wars, and he literally
Mm-hmm.
turned those people against each other. And that's exactly what the Lord is doing now. He's turning these Edomites against each other. The scriptures speak about what a house divided. This house is being divided. And who's doing the division? The Lord. Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua is dividing these devils. And he's gonna
That's right.
cause them to fight the same way he caused these Ammonites and Moabites in Mount Seir to fight against each other. And that's how America's gonna be literally destroyed by its own friends, by its own allies, those that they call their partners. But shit gonna get sticky, man, because the Most High is gonna make shit get sticky. So, just wanted to go into these two headlines, and Lord willing, this was edifying news and prophecies, man. Things that are happening now and that are gonna continue to happen as we continue on in this year 2026. And we're getting close, man. We're here. The
Uh,
MOT is close. Hey, man, we getting closer to the end. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. We're gonna close out by giving all praises and glory. You got any closing words, brother?
I
Precepts?
didn't have anything at the moment, brother.
All right, Con. So we're gonna close it out by giving all praises and glory to Yahweh,
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Yikakadash.
double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Much peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing his word in truth and sincerity. I want to say Shalom,
Shalom,
Yasharallah,
from Nasharala,
Shalom.
Shalom.